3, 2, 1. It's go time. Welcome to the show. It's go time. This is the ultimate podcast for salespeople and sales managers that are in the trenches. They got to talk to somebody to make a sale, right? And joining us always is Robert Bazzacki, our technology genius, their Croatian tiger. Thanks for always being there for us. And we also got Dylan Wynn as well.
Hi.
Dylan, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. My voice might be a little lower because I lost my voice last night.
There you go. There you go. It's about kicking tail in business and doing the fun stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
And when you got one of your favorite artists coming into town, it's all right to cut out a little early and go there, right?
Yeah,
so you and a bunch of teammates did that, and I love that.
You got to earn it.
That's right.
Earn it first.
That's
then you
right.
gotta go.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I've definitely taken a lot of time off when I didn't earn it, and I just didn't have that good as of a time as when I'm like, man, I earned this, right?
You don't want to go on a trip, event, or vacation worrying about money.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not fun.
Yeah, and confident in yourself. They're like, hey, man, I earned this. Hey, I put in the work before. So I love it. So what we're going to be talking about today, what are we going to be talking about today there, Dylan?
We're going to be talking about your relationship with time will increase your relationship with sales.
That's right. So improve your relationship with time to improve your sales. Because this is one thing that, I'm still working on, but, it's a really important lesson, and we got some good stuff for you. So, and again, this is about how to increase our sales and really how to look at time in a better light. So number one, I say is, are we racing the clock or are we waiting to clock out? Right? So how many times have you gone through your day and you're like, man, I can't wait for this day to be over? It's happened, right?
Yeah, when I first started, it was every day.
Every day. And were you good at your job at that point in time?
No, dude, I just wanted it to be over.
Interesting. So we weren't very confident in getting a result, and then we were looking at the clock a little different. Interesting how that works out. So are we racing against the clock? What does that mean? That means it gets to 1 o'clock and you're like, oh my God, I gotta go. Like, I can't believe it's 1 already. Let's go. And so I always find that I produce a lot more when I'm racing, right? And that's one of the reasons why this podcast is named what it is, because it's go time. Hey, what time is it real quick there, Dylan?
It's go time.
It's go time. I almost got you. It's go time. It's go time, right? So are we racing against the clock, or are we ready to clock out? And that's something you got to take a transparent look at ourselves. So
and when you change that perspective and increase your urgency that way, I feel like your results come a lot quicker. And I really like that because I remember me and you, we did like a team trip. We went camping, and me and you and Corden was sitting in the lake. And I was asking you, man, I was like 2 months in the business. I was like, how do you hit $200,000? And you're like, oh, dude, you have to be like a top, I remember top 20 agent. You have to have a top 10 team. And you got to be in like your 2-3 years so your kickbacks your renewals can get higher. And I was like, well, that's stupid. That's fake.
How can I do it sooner?
Yeah, how can I do it sooner? Yeah. So when I increased my urgency in that, I was like, dude, time. Ironically, we're talking about this because I was the guy who always said time is irrelevant. It's just about making the decision. So I made the decision to hit 200K that year. Didn't do it, but I got really close to it.
There you go. Yeah.
And I was like, screw waiting 2-3 years. I'm gonna do it this year. And that helped me with my urgency. That changed my outlook on like, hey, I'm waiting for it's 5 o'clock to, dude, I only got 5 more hours.
Exactly.
I need to get stuff done. I need to get it rolling.
Yep.
Because if this 1 year, it all boils down to 5 hours because I decided to wait my life, this whole year to try to hit the goal, then I would feel like a failure. So I knew for that 5 hours, even if it was beginning, near the end, or in the middle, I knew that mattered. Yep. So having that high urgency of just keep going, it just changes everything.
Absolutely. And sometimes we get in the mindset of, this extra, the last hour of my day doesn't matter that much. Oh, what I'm doing today doesn't really matter that much. Like I've had that thought thousands of times probably of like, even if I make a sale this evening, like it's not going to matter that much. Be careful about that thinking because that'll creep up, right? And so and we'll talk about that here in condensing timeframes, but what is think about this, ask yourself this question. What is your relationship with time right now? do we have a sense of urgency? Brian Tracy says 2% of the population has a sense of urgency. So I always try to look at where can I be in the top 10% of things? Where can I be in the top 5% of things? Where can I be in the top 2%, 1% of things, right? And having a sense of urgency is one of those things, right? And so what is your relationship with time? Take an honest look. Right? Am I waiting to clock out, or am I racing against the clock on a daily basis? Right? Now, of course, if you're with your family, you're hanging out and you're being present, of course, you want to be doing that. But throughout our sales day, just genuinely take a look. Are we racing against the clock or not?
Yeah. And especially when we're talking about if things matter or not, time is not the enemy. You're your own enemy. Your brain is designed to keep you very comfortable, safe, and not allow you to, well, I wouldn't say allow, wouldn't advise you to be seek for discomfort for your sales career, your business. Because like, dude, oh, that sounds unsafe, so I might pull back. Yeah. And when you really put that perspective of like time is neutral, I can't change time. Mm-hmm. So exactly, what can I change on my own? Because if I don't change myself, time will now expose what's been happening. Mm-hmm. For me, it was my number. You know, I was working for 5 months, but you look at my numbers, you looked at my consistency of like my production. You're like, Dylan, it says you're working for 4 weeks, but you only wrote like one application. Are you working? It's like, yeah, I'm working. The numbers don't lie, and time exposes that. So if you're super disciplined, and for me, I didn't want to do the dirty work. I didn't want to dig because it was like, does this even matter?
Right.
I was like, does knocking?
It's a normal thought that pops up.
I was like, I'm on the verge of blanking for today. Doesn't even knocking at this last door even matter? Yeah. Does this last lead even matter?
I'm tired. I'm hungry.
I just want to go to the B&B. I just want to go home. I just want to get food. Yeah. And then, if you don't knock on that door, you don't close that deal, you don't reach out to that one client, that compounds over time, and then that habit just starts going over and over and over, and time exposes that. Or if you're disciplined, that it also compounds the habit you're doing. You're like, I know if I knock on this door, it could happen. Right. I know if I call this client, it could happen. I know if I reach out to this client, it could happen. Mm-hmm. So you're allowing yourself to be disciplined and stay disciplined, even the little things. That does matter. Yeah. That one door, that one call, that one car may not matter, but doing it on a consistent basis will.
Does. Absolutely.
That does. So if you're like super emotional, that also compounds too. That actually magnifies your chaos. If you sit in an emotional state even longer, that for some reason just feels like your perspective is zoomed in, and you only see the chaos, and that chaos will start spreading throughout the time the longer you sit there. Yeah. So you got to start regulating. That's what I do. Yeah. I have to regulate that so I can finally back out to see what's actually breathing, actually see what's happening. And not only that, being inconsistent with your results. I really like how we are very number orientated. You could see someone have a really big week, but then they don't work the next week. So let's
blank.
Yeah, let's say someone had
take the foot off the gas.
Exactly. Let's say someone had like a $10,000 deposit. They're like, oh, I'm gonna take my foot off the gas. Yeah. Next week they don't even work.
Worst mistake you can make.
You just made $5,000 per week for those 2 weeks you just worked, and this just shows your inconsistency because you could have kept going. Yeah. But
then the next week after that, now you're trying to catch momentum, and now you have a tough week. So now you have 3 weeks, and you're just banking on that one that you had a big week. So
and then if you stay emotional, you only see that bad week.
Right? Yeah, 100%. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, and so really, you don't need more time. You just need higher standards. Yeah. You just need to put yourself in the position to change. And how can I be more disciplined? How can I regulate better? And how can I be more consistent? And time awards that. Yeah. It's just crazy how that works.
Yeah, and it's so true. And so that extra knock, that extra call, that extra effort, watching 15 minutes more of a training video, like that stuff compounds. And like you said, that becomes a habit, right? Because you're always casting a vote. I think in Atomic Habits, he talks about this, is you're always casting a vote for your habits. So what habit are you casting a vote for? That I'm slow throughout my day, that I don't finish my day, that last call doesn't really matter. Because here's also the problem with, I did, finish my day, but it didn't work out. And so it's like, oh, I worked late, but, I didn't get an extra sale. Good. Do it 50 times and come back and tell me what the data shows, right? Because what you'll see is like, that's where a lot of your momentum is built. And that's where a lot of your production comes from. That's where a lot of your confidence comes from. At least it is for me, right? And you can also tell yourself like, hey, I'm a finisher. Right, I finish. So, and I'm using my time. Like there is no tomorrow. Like that's a great phrase that I'm sure you've heard me say. Like there is no tomorrow. Like we're in final expense insurance sales, and so I say there is no tomorrow in final expense. Meaning when the client's trying to delay, there is no tomorrow. Right? When you're trying to delay or you're trying to slow down, dude, there's no tomorrow. So I think that's a great thing. It's like, how much can I squeeze out of my day by day by day? And then you look back and you're like, man, like, why am I getting this award? Like my bank account's bigger than it ever has and stuff like that. You're like, but to others, you might appear being a superhuman, but to you, you're just going through your day because it's a habit on how you look at time.
And I really like you brought that point because time doesn't reward, time doesn't reward intensity. It rewards consistency. And something I wrote down is intensity feels productive, but consistency builds wealth. Right. Yeah. And so what I always think about that is like, let's say you just now started going to the gym and you go in, you had an amazing chest day and you're like, dude, my chest, that was such a good workout. I'm not going to work out for the next 2 weeks because it was such a good workout. And you're like, well, you just threw everything you just did to the drain. And even if you go in and you had a really crappy workout, but you stayed consistent with it, you will always dust the person who just went in for the one amazing workout and stopped working out. It's like the turtle and the rabbit analogy. It's like, the person who's slowly moving, slowly going, who's making one step from the other and not stopping. Yeah. Regardless of intensity or not, time will be rewarded in that way, no matter what.
Yeah, sorry. I love it. Hey, yeah. I'll take somebody who's consistent versus somebody who's intense in spurts all day long, right? Because that's what pays, right? That's what keeps momentum, stuff like that. What else about time and relationship of time, of lessons you've learned, or maybe something that you wish you would have known when you first started, or going through a tough time, or something like that?
I feel like this is repetitive. But, for me, time and motivation will never equal the same, right?
Unpack that.
Yeah, unpack that. It's basically, it means no matter how you're feeling, if you're not doing the repetition, you won't be rewarded from the time. So kind of going back to like the intensity part, right? Like sometimes I had like this really big deal, like this one big deal went down, or I had a really big week. And it brought me so much momentum. I was like, oh my goodness, I keep going. And then I had one really bad week, and then I like just stopped. Sometimes I just broke down. I didn't want to keep going anymore. And what I realized, it's natural. And what I realized is that I was relying so much on motivation to keep me going that I was riding my highs, but then I was so high that I went really low. And for some reason, I couldn't get myself out of it. And so something that really helped me keep going to get to this position is that one deal won't retire you.
Yeah.
One big week won't retire you. But I'll tell you this, 1 year to 1 decade will. So if you really just look in a long-term perspective and make sure everything does matter for a long-term game and not for a short-term, then you will always be rewarded for that consistency and those reps you're doing on a daily to yearly basis and not just relying on motivation.
Yeah, I love that. And honestly, if you haven't been in sales for a long time, that's really tough to conceptualize. I think we hear it a lot, right? Things compound over time. But look in your own life in something that you've been consistent with, that you've invested your time and you had urgency and you're racing the clock. Like you can find something in your life, even if it's in your childhood, like trying to ride a bike or something like that. Whatever. Look for the relationship of where you've seen your effort and your relationship with time and your sense of urgency pay off in the long run. Because if you take a genuine look, you already have this kind of experience in your life, right? So take an honest look and you'll find it.
You will. How have you improved your relationship with time?
Yeah, I think it's just understanding, like, so I'm 35, right? And like being around all you young dudes is like, I just look at a bunch of young Patricks on our team. That's how I see it. And I'm like, please don't make the same mistakes I did,
I was thinking about that Kevin Hart thing, that meme that was like, damn. And when you said that, I don't know why. He's actually not that much older than me. It's just funny to make fun of it.
Oh, yeah. Damn. 35, damn. About to be 36 in 30 days. But I think it was, just listening to folks talk about time and like how important it is that, being consistent and continuing to do these things that we talk about and doing the math. Like doing the math, it's like, hey man, which I can talk about here in just a second, is condensing timeframes. Like that was one of the most powerful lessons that I've ever heard is about condensing timeframes. So for instance, if you earn, we can try to go to the whiteboard if this stuff works out. If you earn $3,000 a month and your bills are, 2,500, right? And you don't spend anything extra. Let's say bills, food, and everything. How much you bringing home?
500.
All right. I don't know if I can do the whiteboard here. Plus, this is mainly audio, anyways. So you're bringing home 500, right? Or you're keeping.
Yeah, 500.
Right. So it's super important that you focus a tremendous amount of energy and time and effort on what you keep, on the money that you keep. Okay. So in that example, you earn 3,000 and spending everything else is 2,500. So you got 500. Well, what if you increase your income by using time, right? And maybe extending out time, being more effective, what have you. And now you increase it to 4,000 a month, right? And then you don't increase your standard of living or what you spend at all. Now, how much do you keep every month?
Be 1,500.
1,500, right? So you increased your income by 33%, but how much did you increase how much you kept?
It's like 3 times, but I was gonna do the math. It's like 100. It's like almost 200%.
Yeah, it's a 3x. Mm-hmm. It's a 3 times multiple by only increasing your income by 33%. And so once you start doing the math like that, it's like, oh my gosh. Because what do most people do is when we increase our income, oh great, I got extra money. Now I can get a higher car payment. Now I can get a higher mortgage. Now I can, play at nicer golf courses or whatever. Don't do that. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make is increasing your spending exactly how you're increasing your income. They call it lifestyle creep, right? It's terrible. Right? Because if you do the math, you're not condensing timeframes. So I think it's super important. When I was doing the math on that, I was like, oh my God. So because the first 2 years I stacked like about 1,200 or something like that. I don't know the exact number, but I remember doing the math and I'd be a millionaire by the time I was like 1,000 years old. And that was the epiphany. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to condense timeframes. And then I stacked a few thousand more, and now I'll be a millionaire in 200 years, right? And then I increase my income and how much I store, and now, oh my gosh, I can actually do it my lifetime. And then you just keep running that cycle, keep getting efficient at your career, keep racing against the clock, right? And then all of a sudden, then it starts to become attainable in just a few years, if and only if you remain consistent and persistent. So that's when, now I had to see the result, right? Because I was ramping up, and I didn't really see too much of a result until about 2 months in. 2 months later, that's when I really saw my bank balance change. But once I saw traction, right? So you might be in this situation right now. It's like, man, I feel like I'm putting in the effort. I feel like I'm putting it in, everything you're talking about on this podcast, everything my mentor is talking to me about. Good. Like do it for a long period of time because you are breaking the dam down one sledgehammer at a time. And although you might not see that dam is breaking, right? Like it is. Okay. If you're following appropriate direction. Right. And so once I started seeing momentum, once I started seeing actually that I could keep more, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm stacking $37,000. It was like $750 a week. I think that's 37 a year or something like that. I remember somewhere around 37 a year. And I told my uncle, and not my blood uncle, but he was the only millionaire I knew at the time. And I'm like, I'm stacking I'm trending to stack about 37 grand this year. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, that's really good. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. And he's like, keep doing that. And then so the next year is like 80, then next year is like 120. And then you just keep getting faster and faster. So yeah, condensing time frames is super important, and really making sure as you're increasing your income that you do not increase your spending. I got data on this. Can I share some data?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so what is it? It's somewhere around 75% of all Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Somewhere around there. Maybe 60, 65. It's the majority. Okay, it's the majority.
If you walk into Walmart right now, there's 3 out of 4 people living paycheck to paycheck.
There you go. Right. And so, and so that's a tremendous amount of people. And let's see. So, and then only about 20 to 25% of all Americans are actually in that income level to where it's like, okay, yeah, their income and what they spent, okay, that makes sense. They should be paycheck to paycheck. And then there are other things that talked about 40 to 45% of folks are that earn over 100K are still paycheck to paycheck. So that is a tremendous amount of people that are spending their way to paycheckville. Because only about 20% actually earn that amount that you should be paycheck to paycheck, right? And at the same time, you should increase your income there too. But I just thought that was interesting. And it's like, we spend our way to paycheck. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and I think I said this in a couple of podcasts ago, but you just get how much money you're stacking or how much you have saved, figure out how much is your living expenses, and just figure out how long you can actually be retired for before all the money goes away. Mm-hmm. And when you see that, like the millionaire math you do, that was for me, it's like, dang, man, I can only live for like 5 months. I can't retire off of that.
There you go.
So I need to condense these time frames and move quicker, stack faster, hit my targets quicker, learn how to put systems in place to help me get there faster. And then boom, you're not paycheck to paycheck anymore.
And then now what are you? If you were to do the general math, how long could you live on what you have? Give or take.
Me?
Yeah, so it was 5 months.
Oh, when I first started?
No, right now.
Right now, okay.
Give or take.
If I retired right now, it'd probably be just a year.
Okay, great. So that's now almost 2.5 times of when the example you talked. Right? That's amazing. Right? That's called an improvement. That's called advancing forward. Right? Fantastic. So we're talking about time, right? Our relationship with time. Take an honest look at what your relationship with time is, and how we can improve. So when we're talking about sales, this is what I think. If you're a salesperson, you should be spending an inordinate amount of time on the hunt, on the search, on the move, on the groove, searching to be in front of a prospect. Or if you're over the phone, then talking to a prospect. You should spend 95% of your time on the hunt. You know what's interesting? A lot of salespeople spend a ton of energy and a ton of time, 15, 16, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50% prepping, making sure my desk is in order, making sure this is in order, and then I got to do this before I go on a sales call. Delay. Go. It is go time. Go. Move your butt to go get in front of a prospect, right? What do we talk about when we're in the field? About breaks.
Well, I don't have any, but
that's right.
Yeah, you don't have any, but if you need one, because some people do, time it. Put a time block in your schedule.
There you go.
So you're making a strategic move and not an emotional move.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then when we're talking about, stopping for a meal, is like, do you get a big meal in the middle of the day when you're selling?
No.
Absolutely not. Because, eating and digestion.
I get tired after I eat a lot.
Digestion is one of the most energy consuming activities a human being can do. Right. And so sales is energy. When we talk to people, it's energy. And so you don't want to do things that take your energy, right? So we should be spending most of our time on the hunt, on the search, right? How can I get in front of a prospect, right? If you don't have leads, you should be spending a lot of time cold calling. Like, do what you got to do to set up an appointment.
You should have no shame if you don't have money.
You have no shame. Rock and roll. Oh, but I don't like cold calling. Okay, good. Do you like being broke? Okay, let's get on the phone, baby. Right? And you don't have to cold call for the rest of your life.
You just got to do it for this season.
That's right. And get good at it. So you should spend a lot of your time on the hunt, on the search, prospecting, following up with prospecting. How can you sit down? How can you spend more time sitting down in front of a qualified prospect? Here's a test for you. For the next 4 weeks, time yourself and keep track of time on how much time you spend talking to a client or a potential client, a prospect, right? It will shock you on how little time. Oh, but I work so hard. I go 55 hours. Okay, great. How many of those 55 hours are you spending talking to a prospect, right? Even if you talk for them for 3 minutes and they hung up on you, great. That's 2 minutes, right? And you spent an hour and a half with the client. They didn't do the deal. Fantastic. That's an hour and a half you spent in front of a prospect. And so track how much time that you spend in front of a prospect and let us know. Let us know what you find out. You're like, okay, it was more than I thought. It was less than I thought. It's equal to what I thought. But most people, it's going to be way less than you think.
Sorry, I was distracted. I was searching up because you just made me think of something. It's called the law of wasted effort. And a lion may not catch its food every time it hunts, but it does not make it a failure. It only fails when it stops trying.
There you go.
And so basically what that means is like, if you stop trying, you will starve.
Yes.
But if you stay on the hunt, you keep going, you keep getting in front of those prospects and sales, if you keep doing the things you're supposed to be doing and don't apply the law of wasted effort, you will get dinner.
I love that.
But if you stop and you stop trying, you'll starve to death.
Yep. And where do we make the most impact? Where do we help the most people? Where do we make the most money? Talking to a prospect. So then why don't we prioritize our time to sit down in front of prospects, right? So spend as much time, invest as much time as you possibly can into getting into a prospect. So let's see, that easier said than done. So let's just say you're at the car lot, right? What do most guys do at the car lot? Wait. We wait.
Sit in front of the building.
Is that offense or defense there, Dylan?
Defense.
Defense. We are in an offensive game. I don't care what industry you're in an offensive game. So how can you be more on offense? How can you be more on the hunt? This will help, right? This is creating urgency, right? Oh, but not a lot of guys in my office make cold calls. Good. You can be the first, right? Oh, we've tried the cold calling thing and it doesn't work that much. Great. There's a way, all right? How can you invest more time in front of more qualified prospects?
And just because other people aren't doing it doesn't mean you shouldn't either.
That's right.
Because they're not paying your bills.
That's right.
Me and Moody just had this conversation. We were talking about work. I was like, hey, did you work out this weekend? He's like, no, the energy just felt different. No one else kind of goes. Like, didn't you want to be the catalyst of changing the culture here? I was like, why are you letting them dictate things? He goes, oh,
positive peer pressure.
Yeah. He's like, I didn't knock late because no one else is. Are they paying your bills? Didn't you get the nickname Midnight Moody? He's like, but no one else is doing it. I was like, good. Then that means you need to do it.
Yes.
Because if you do it and you learn how to condense that time frame, they're eventually going to catch on.
That's
like,
right.
What is Moody doing?
That's right.
And they're going to ask for help, and you're going to be able to give them a template. It's like, this is what I did. This is what I learned. And then boom, they can do it as quick as you can, if not quicker.
And that's leadership, right? I don't care who you are. You can be a day one sales agent, right? You are a leader, okay? And are we a good leader or not, right? And another phrase for leadership is being an exemplary example, right? So I'll give you an example. When I first started, we had a 3-day road model is where, we travel for work. So we're on the road, throughout the week. And so we leave Monday morning, then we come back. So the model when I first started was Monday through Wednesday, right? And I was listening to GC, shout out Grant Cardone. And he's like, dude, just work harder than everybody around you. Like, that's where you start. I'm like, oh, I can do that. I suck at sales. I can barely talk to people. I'm getting steamrolled every time I talk to somebody, but I can work harder than everybody, more hours, right? And then so what I started doing is I was like, hey man, let's do 4 days. Why not? I'm not doing anything Thursday anyways, right? Like I'm playing golf, but I ain't got no money, so it's not that fun. And then what happened? And then sometimes it'd be Friday too. And then what happened is guys would be like, oh man, I don't want you to stay by yourself. I'm like, I don't care. I'm staying regardless. And it's like, oh well, I'll stay with you. I got leads anyways. So people were leaving home or leaving to go home and they had leads, right? And so be the trendsetter. Use your time to be the trendsetter on your team, in your company, in your industry. Like, here's your permission. Be that guy. Be that gal. What are you waiting for?
And
right?
ironically, that condenses your time frame. Him going from 3 days to 4 days increased your work production for that week by 33%. And some people, if you go out early, if let's say you go to the office earlier, I made that call quicker. I made that call later than usual. Like I decided to work later. When you put in that extra hours in, you're condensing time frames because you're putting in a more of a percentage that will one day go into your income.
That's right.
And I want to go straight to my third point, which is you have to have urgency in your actions, but be patient with the outcome, right? So like high performers move fast daily, but they think long term.
Yeah.
Right. And so what I mean by that is like there's a lot of people that it's not on them, but I do think it's a culture thing where like sometimes people just waste time or they feel isolated where they're like, okay, I can push things off. Or for me, sometimes it's like, oh, I can take this phone call. My friend's calling. I can wait an hour or two in this parking lot taking that. And what I realized is like when my goals were coming to me, like I got 2 days to hit this goal, I started panicking. I gotta go. Start panicking. But the crazy part is it was like I was panicking because like, how do I achieve this? How do I do this? And you never want to be putting yourself in that emotional state. And what I found out was that winners measure everything backwards. So what they do is they get the goal, what they're trying to achieve, and they go and they start figuring out the number to work backwards. I think we talked about last podcast, but it's like for us, it's like how many people do I need to present to get this number?
Exactly.
Right. And when you put that in front of you, and it stops you from preventing like wasted time. So I was training this guy this week. And I found out he needs really good structure. Okay, good. So this is all we're gonna need from you, man. Just leave by 10 a.m. and just go get 3 qualified sits. Or get 3 presentations from everyone. It doesn't matter what happens in between. If you can leave by 10 a.m. and get 3 presentations in for that day, you're going to be successful in my books. Because winners measure backwards. And when you let that compound and you become so urgent to get that done as quick as possible, and you become patient with the outcome, all of a sudden time becomes your friend. And then that really kicks into gear. Like, dang, man, if I stay urgent long enough and I stay patient long enough, and all of a sudden, I forgot who says it, but it's like people who have overnight success, it's not overnight. It looks overnight. It looks overnight, but it's just the compound of years, of months, of weeks, and of little micro minutes of you dedicating your craft to that. And boom, it came out of nowhere. They just kept failing. And one day they're like, you know what? I need to learn from this as quick as possible. They learned it, solved it, and boom, they won. Looked like overnight, but they put in the groundwork for so long because they had so much urgency and they were patient that it made them a winner.
Mr. Beast just had a 10-year anniversary video, just like it popped up a few days ago for me, and it was a video from him to himself in 10 years, and he's like, I hope I just have 1 million followers or subscribers or something, and now he's 455 million or something like that. Don't quote me on the number.
I love Mr. Beast.
That's consistency.
Not even his videos. I love the work ethic, and like everything he puts into it.
There's our alarms there. Goes off every hour and a half to remind us of where to keep our focus. What's yours?
It's all worth it.
There you go.
It always weirdly comes out of nowhere because I am very emotional. I'm bringing this up because if I'm in the field and I'm having a tough day, I'm very emotional. And I'm like, dude, this sucks. I don't even want to knock the next door. I want to go home. I was like, screw this urgency, screw this patience. And all of a sudden my alarm will go off and it'll just say, it's all worth it. I was like, oh God, you know what? You're right. I got to think long term. I just got to suck it up and do the work. And then I can look back now like a month. Dude, that happened like 2 weeks ago. I was like, it's like, this sucks. I want to go home. This blows. Boom, boom, comes on. It's all worth it. You're right. It's all worth it. I knocked the next door and it pretty much changed my whole week. So
there we go. So what we're talking about is we set in our phones every hour and a half, just a phrase. It's just an alarm, like your wake up alarm. And it's just something you want to focus on that will be helpful for you. Right? Yours is, it's all worth it, right? Mine is, I always have more money than I need. I cannot help but attract more money I can't help but attract a lot of money into my life, right? And Robert, what's yours? just keep sprinting. What an amazing, timely thing. I didn't know that. We're talking about time, right? And what do they say in, what was it, in Anchorman or whatever? He's like, I sprint marathons, right? So we need to be sprinting out there in sales, folks, right? We need to be prioritizing our time to get in front of a prospect. We need to be prioritizing our time to be training. We need to be prioritizing our time to be practicing, right? Because it is all worth it. And these things compound over a long period of time.
If you keep sprinting.
And here's the thing, because you said it, is like, it's not all peaches and cream all the time. We're not sitting here and saying, oh, yeah, we've got the gas mashed 24/7 every second of every day. That's not what we're saying. No, but that's our intention, right? That's our intention in the time that we've allotted for whatever we're doing, right? Whatever that thing is. So, and we're talking on this podcast about sales. So, in whatever time you have allotted, right? See how fast you can go. Now, when you're with your prospect, slow down. Okay? Slow down when you're with your prospect. But in between prospects, you should be going fast, right? We drive, right? And I'm not talking about speeding. Be safe. Be lawful, right? But what I do when I'm driving is I put my big toe just a little bit further on the gas pedal. Because what I find is if I'm driving to my next lead, sometimes, and I'm not feeling it, sometimes I feel my gas pedal going off. And I'm going just under the speed limit. We're driving through the country. It's a good song, whatever. I'm chilling. I really don't want to get to the next lead. And they're like, whoa, wait a minute. Urgency. And then I hit the gas a little bit. Just put the big toe on the gas. So how can you give yourself a little bit more urgency throughout your day, right? It could be an alarm. It could be a thought process, something to catch yourself to be like, oh yeah, I got to keep going. I got to move fast. Am I moving fast right now? Right? Because, if you like, what's the difference between, 1 degree with airplanes? Like if an airplane goes 1 degree difference for a few hours, they're on like two separate sides of the planet or whatever.
Even like just a small turn, it will put you way off.
And so that's the difference between going like moderately fast to really fast. And you just see it over a long period of time. So test this out for yourself. Right? Do a 7-day sprint, do a 6-day sprint, do 2 weeks, do a month, right? Right now we're getting married in 90 days. Guess what I'm doing for the next 90 days? How hard can I go?
Not married to me, by the way.
Yeah, we're not getting married. Yeah, your girlfriend's in the studio, so we'll talk after the show, Dylan. No, but it's like, what can be like, I'm a sprint goal kind of guy. I was talking to my coach today. He's like, I feel like you're a sprint kind of guy. I'm like, I am. And so, set some sprint targets for yourself. That's what we'll end. That's what we'll end here with you, unless you got something else. Is set some sprint targets for yourself. Is like, how hard can I go in this allotted time, right? And then just test it out. How hard can you go? Because what that does is that increases your capacity, right? Well, oftentimes too, it'll increase your belief about what you can accomplish, right? So we have a couple of weeks a year where we go all week plus one, right? And
I love those weeks.
And that breaks down belief barriers. And this is like the 8th year we've done it or whatever. And it's just wild to see folks break their own belief system because we're too casual on a weekly basis, because we're too passive on a daily basis. So if you're in sales, you cannot be playing passive. If you're in sales, you cannot be casual, right? And a lot of times you might be operating too slow. Now, when we were with the prospect, take your time, baby.
Yeah.
Because guess what? This is gold time. When you're talking to a client, with a prospect, potential client, that is gold time. You're doing your job, right? That's it. But if you're in between, hey, you need to be moving fast. Hey, how can I get, the next person online on the phone? How can I get in front of the next person, right? Because what I see in almost everybody that I've seen fail in sales, they're too passive, they're too casual, and they're too slow. And we're probably thinking of someone at the same time right now.
Yeah.
Moves like a sloth. had money problems, had confidence problems, had motivation problems, right? So if you want to increase that stuff, try to see how fast you can go in a short amount of time. You like sprint goals?
Always.
That's right, man.
I love it. That's why we always do a month goal, then it just compounds to a year.
That's right.
But I will say this, it's like all the what we're saying is easier said than done for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So something that I just now learned recently is that the boring time is where your money comes from. And like boring time makes you rich. And what I mean by that is like when I'm in the field by myself and I got the alarm, like it's all worth it. It could be a random Tuesday for me. It could be a random Tuesday for you, you know, or because when you're in that mode of like, dang, dude, does this even matter? Should I even keep sprinting? But if you're like, dude, for example, like the gym, I really like gym to becoming like sales analogies because it's like going to the gym really tired. You know, it's better to skip. It's better to just suck than skip.
Yes.
And if you
100%.
keep going, even when you're tired, you know you'll keep going even when if you feel great, right? Because the days that feel normal are the days that build your future. All the time. It's not the days that make you feel the best to go. Yeah, it's easy to go when it's easy. You know,
right.
It's easy to go to the gym when you feel good.
Yeah.
It's easy to go outside when it's sunny. But what are you going to do when it's raining? What are you going to do when you're tired?
When it's cold.
When it's cold.
It's gloomy.
When it's the winter. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Because the boring times will make you rich. So fall in love with the monotony. That random Tuesday, that all of a sudden that weird emotion comes over you. Good. Remember something that is all worth it, that you can keep pushing because these boring times you're in will make you rich.
Yeah.
So I know it's harder said than done, especially being in sales. But if you just remember these tools and what we're talking about, remember that when it gets boring, then it's good because wealth is built on repetition. And when you get so good that it's boring, that means you just need to put it in the second gear.
That's right. And if you can get great at something that you hate, guarantee you're going to be successful, right? If it's sales, right? Oh, I hate making cold calls. How many times have you heard somebody say that?
All the time.
I hear it all the time. I do interviews, and it's like, oh, is this cold calling? It's like, no, good. I hate cold calling. It's like, okay, well, this person doesn't understand the power of a cold call, right? And so get great at something that you hate. So anything else on condensing time frames or improving your relationship with time to improve your sales?
No, I think that's it. That's all my points.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So this is our call out to you to go, to move, to make that call, to keep making those calls, to knock, to roll forward when you don't feel like it, when it's gloomy out there, right? When you know none of your teammates are rolling out there with you, right? Whatever that means. Oh, the lights just shut off, right? You're the only one. I remember I was making recruiting calls on Sundays, right? And my president walked in. He's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Wait a minute, how did you get the code for the office?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, Kev gave it to me, man. I'm just making recruiting calls." He's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like, I'm tired of sucking. I'm tired of not accomplishing my goals." And so I'm like, I gotta do extra. And I know if I keep putting, and I know for you too, is if you keep putting your best foot forward and you keep putting the effort in the right places. You know, fall in love with the boring stuff, condensing time frames, using your time wisely, well, then the results have to follow. You want to guarantee, this is an it's go time guarantee, is when you have a different relationship with time, right? And it's like, I got to race the clock. Like your sales will increase. Your confidence will increase. Right? All the good stuff will increase. And you were talking about when I don't feel like it. The times where you don't feel like it will decrease, and the times that you feel like it will increase. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. Is that tracking?
Yeah.
Is that true?
It's like
it is.
This Alex Hormozy thing was talking about how like this guy was talking about going to the gym at 5 a.m., but he loved going. He said, that's not discipline because you love doing it. You already done it so many times where it's a habit. And goes straight into what we're talking about. It's like those good times that used to be hard get better. It gets easier if you just keep rolling with the punches and allowing time to actually say like, dude, if I keep going, it gets easier, it gets better. Because it does. Like now, we don't even skip the gym. It's weird for us to skip the gym. But when we first started, we're like, dude, we don't even want to go to the gym.
Right.
So when you start doing that with prospecting, when you start doing that with your career, you start doing that with your life, you become so urgent to get things done that you're going to feel so weird when you don't get things.
Yes.
It's that's how I feel.
Hey, it's what habits are we grooving in? right? So we hope this was helpful for you guys.
Oh yeah, if you thought of a friend and you want to help a friend, share this to a friend.
There you go. There you go. I love that. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I mean, we just want to help folks. If you think something that we've said anytime on this podcast or this episode has helped you out, something that's clicked, something that was a good reminder, something that made an impact on you, hey, share it with the friend. Maybe you got a friend that might be a little slothy and he moves or she moves at a snail's pace. And you're like, man, I wish she moved a little faster. I wish she moved a little faster. Share this episode. If you heard one thing that was an impact, please do us a favor. That's our only fee we got on the show, is you share it with folks that are in sales, because we would love to help them out. That's all we're here for. So the last thing is, as always, our public service announcement. It's free to be kind. Let's be kinder to strangers. Let's be kinder to your friends. Let's be kinder to our family, right? Let's be kinder in traffic. Man, again, I'll share this story again. When I was at Scotland, I just noticed that the folks in Scotland, they just drove so kindly, right? You know, they'd be in the fast lane and then they immediately pass you and then go over to slow lane. And I'm just like, this is so awesome, man. I was in a different universe. And then I come back to the States and people are like, and I'm like, this sucks, right? So let's be kinder in traffic. Let's be kinder to strangers, because how much does it cost?
It's free, man.
There you go.
My voice is cracked. It's free. Gosh,
it's free. Hell yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys sticking around. And what time is it?
It's go time, baby.
It's go time. Peace.
Peace.